Have you heard about DTF transfers, but you're not quite sure about how they fit into your crafting? Because if that's you, then you're in the right place. Because in this video, I'm going to teach you all about direct-to-film transfers and how to use them. My name is Alex Vanover with DIY Alex, and I'm so glad that you're here. DTF transfers have become so popular in the craft world. So I dove deep into research mode to learn all the things so that I can teach you exactly what you need to know about direct-to-film transfers. So in the beginning of this video, I'm going to teach you all about DTF and what you need to know about it. And in the second part of this video, I'm going to teach you how to apply DTF transfers from Pro World. Make sure that you stick around until the end of this video because I'm going to tell you exactly who I think DTF transfers are best suited for, and you can enter to win a heat press from the generous sponsors of today's video, Pro World Inc. Now, let's jump into this tutorial. So let's start with the basics of what DTF means. DTF stands for direct to film, and these are a type of transfers that are printed onto a film, and then you can press them yourself onto the garment of your choice using your heat press. One of the things that I found most confusing about DTF is all the different ways that people talk about doing it. Some people purchase a printer and convert it into a DTF printer so that they can create their own transfers. I've even seen popular hacks online of people using their regular inkjet printers to create their own transfers at home. And yet other people prefer to order their transfers from a company and then just simply press them at home using their heat press. So let's break down some of those different methods and the pros and cons of each of them. So first, let's talk about converting a printer to DTF and creating your own transfers at home. Now, full transparency, this isn't something that I've tried myself, but I've done quite a bit of research and I've talked to some friends who have already tried this. So I think I have a pretty good idea of how it works. And in my personal opinion, it looks like way more of a headache than it's really worth. But let me tell you why that is. So the first issue that I see with converting a printer to DTF is the investment. Between the type of printer you have to buy and the software you need to operate the printer, you're looking at a minimum initial investment of $1,200. Not only is that a really pricey investment just to get started, but the conversion process is fairly complicated. It's not as simple as just filling up your ink tanks in your EcoTank printer like it is with sublimation. Another issue that I see is once the printer is converted, you actually have to do daily maintenance on your printer. Because you would actually be putting white ink into the print heads, white ink can actually clog your print heads really easily and ruin your printer. So in order to keep your printer in good working order, you genuinely have to do daily maintenance on the print heads. Now, I don't know about you, but this is my full-time job and I still don't think I have the capacity to do daily maintenance on my printer. If you want to start or run a t-shirt business, a $1,200 minimum initial investment is pretty steep. And that's going to take you a while to make your money back. So even though it would be super convenient for you to be able to make your own transfers at home, since there are so many cons to this process, I don't recommend converting a printer to DTF if you're just getting started with DTF. The next option that we talked about for DTF is using your inkjet printer to hack your way into making your own DTF transfers at home. Now, I have to admit, it does make a pretty cool project right off of the bat. But here's the thing about this hack. But the thing about this hack is it doesn't really compare to actual DTF transfers. From all of the research that I've done, it looks like the colors significantly wash out on the first wash. Plus, you have to use a white t-shirt for this hack because inkjet printers don't actually have any white ink to place a backer behind the transfer. So in order for the colors to show up, you have to use a white t-shirt anyway. And because of all of those factors, in my personal opinion, if you're really interested in trying this hack, I just recommend doing sublimation instead. Since I don't recommend the first two methods of trying DTF, you're probably wondering to yourself, okay, Alex, what do you recommend when it comes to trying DTF? In my personal opinion, I think it's best to let the pros handle actually creating the transfers so that they can ship them to you and you can press the transfers at home using your heat press. Now, since Pro World is a sponsor of today's video, let's talk about what it's like to order transfers from Pro World. In order to order your designs from Pro World, you're going to submit them on a large sheet that's called a gang sheet, which looks something like this. You can actually create a gang sheet right inside Pro World's uploader, Or you can create your own gang sheet and simply upload it to ProWorld's website in order to print your designs. I chose to create my gang sheet outside of ProWorld. I did mine on canva.com and it was super easy to do. All I did was go to Canva and I created a page that was 12 inches wide by 22 inches high. You want to keep that size in mind. 12 inches wide by 22 inches high. Then once I created my page, I could upload and add as many designs as I wanted that would fit on my gang sheet. Then once it was full, I simply exported it from canva.com, and then during the upload process, I uploaded my gang sheet onto ProWorld's website. Now with DTF transfers, you can do full color, fairly detailed designs. But you do want to be cautious about super fine, like small dots or very thin lines. But don't worry. ProWorld's team will contact you when they review your artwork, and if any adjustments need to be made, they'll let you know. After you check out, you can let ProWorld handle all the printing of your transfers. They'll be shipped directly to you, and as soon as you receive them, they'll be ready to press. There are some really great things about using DTF transfers, and one of them is that there's no setup fee for your art. And there's also no minimum order. So you could literally just order one gang sheet full of designs if you'd like, or even just a handful so that you can dip your toes into DTF without a big initial investment. Now, let's take a look at the order process over on ProWorld's website.
So first, let's take a look at how to order these transfers from ProWorld. Begin by going to the toolbar and selecting Custom Transfers, and then click on View All Custom Heat Transfers. Then you can scroll down and choose the Color Pro DTF section by clicking Learn More and Order. This page is a great resource for those of you who want to learn more about DTF, because it's going to talk a lot more about the specifics. And if you scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page, it even has a list of materials that DTF is compatible with. In order to order your transfers, you're going to begin by clicking the green Design Heat Transfer button. Once you get to this page, you can create the gang sheet of images and text directly inside the online designer here, or you can upload your own text and images. You can add text by clicking the Add Text option, and then you'll see that you can make lots of different edits. So if I type in DIY Alex, then I can do things like change my font, my text color, and even add an outline. And once I'm happy with my text, I can actually use this arrow in the bottom right corner to resize my text to make it whatever size I'd like, as long as it fits on the gang sheet. Then when you're done, you can click on the layer of text that you've just created and drag it anywhere on the gang sheet. So it's really easy to rearrange everything as you'd like as you're adding images and text. Then if you're not sure what kind of designs you want to upload onto your gang sheet, you can choose the Add Art option and see a lot of different designs and inspiration. Browsing design ideas is going to take you to a section full of fully customizable designs. So let's say, for example, you are making shirts for a family reunion. If you search that in the search bar, you'll see a bunch of different types of designs pop up, and you can actually add these designs to the online designer. Then if you decide to add any of the designs onto your gang sheet, you can actually go line by line and customize each of the different lines of text. And you can even change things like the colors used in the design. So there's lots of ways to customize it. Then if we click on the Add Art section again, you can also browse some clip art ideas and some smaller designs. These would be great for like a left chest logo type of thing. Or you can even add your saved projects from your ProWorld account back onto your gang sheet if you've created these before. Or your final option is to upload your own images. Now you can upload your own images and actually size them here on the gang sheet, or you can create an entire gang sheet in a program outside the online designer, such as canva.com, and then upload the entire image like this. I'll go ahead and select a file, and then I'll choose what I want to add and then choose open. Then once I've uploaded my design, I can choose the white option based on my project. And then under color profile, I want to select full color and then choose finish. Then you'll see my entire gang sheet show up here on the online designer. So I'm going to drag it up to the left-hand corner and then use the arrow to resize it to make sure that it spans across the entire gang sheet. Then once I'm happy with my design, I can go ahead and click Next Step. On the quantity page, I do have to order at least one of my gang sheets. So you want to change this to one or more, whatever you'd like to order, and then choose Get Price. Then I can name my design in case I want to come back and add this gang sheet to my order in the future. Then I'll click Add to Cart. Here you can add any special instructions to the design team. I'm not going to add any though. I'm just going to click Continue. Then from here, you can finish entering all your information and checkout, and then ProWorld will print all your transfers and ship them straight to you.
When choosing a garment for your DTF transfers, they are super versatile in the types of fabrics and in the colors that you can press on. So I would encourage you to pick a garment that works best for your project. If you want to double check that the garment you have is compatible with DTF, you can find the full list of everything that's compatible with it over on ProWorldInc.com. When you receive your DTF transfers in the mail, they're going to come in a large gang sheet like this. So next we need to trim out the designs that we want to press on our garment. Something else to keep in mind when you're cutting out your gang sheet is you do want to cut off everything on the borders, because if you don't, these things will press onto your garment. So again, I'm just going to remove the dotted lines along the side and this colorful line along the top. Now, before we actually press our transfer, let's talk about some best practices for pressing DTF transfers. First, you're gonna have to use a traditional heat press in order to press DTF transfers because they require extremely heavy pressure. So something like a Cricut Easy Press or an iron is not going to have enough pressure to press these transfers. Something else to keep in mind is that the settings that you need to be using can vary a little bit. So in this video, I'm going to tell you what settings worked best for me, but I do encourage you to test out your own settings as well as washing and drying your garments in between giving them as gifts or selling them as products to make sure that you are using the settings that work best for you. Now, a couple other things to note about your heat press is that you do not want to use any kind of cover sheet over top of your DTF transfers. So if you're used to using parchment paper or a Teflon sheet, do not use those for this press. You also do not want to use a pressing pillow in this either. You want to completely rely on the pressure from the heat press. And because the pressure should be heavy, you want it to be difficult to open. So make sure that you adjust your pressure before you start pressing your DTF transfers. Now, the settings that work best for the DTF transfers when I tested them was 325 degrees Fahrenheit for 15 seconds with that very heavy pressure. But if you want to see the full range of recommendations for temperatures and times, you can find all that information over on ProWorldInc.com. Oh, and I forgot to say that it worked really well when I did a 5-second pre-press. So we'll begin our process by pre-pressing for 5 seconds. When placing your transfer, keep in mind that the film is on the front of the sheet and the design is actually printed on the back of the film. So you'll want to place the design on the shirt so that it looks correct on the garment, just like you would with heat transfer vinyl. So then I'm gonna place it on my shirt about 3 inches below the collar, shut my heat press's drawer, and then I'm slowly gonna lower my heat press onto my transfer and shut it closed. Now, another important part about transfers is we need to remove the carrier sheet quickly while the transfer is very hot. So we'll have to move fast as soon as our heat press goes off. And once we rip off the carrier sheet, our shirt is ready to go. Check out how vibrant and bright these colors are. Now that we've pressed these DTF transfers, I wanted to give you a bit of a closer look at what they look like on the shirt. And I actually think that they look a little bit washed out there on the camera. They are super vibrant in person. What I also like about these transfers is that they stretch really, really nicely. So they don't feel super plasticky in my opinion or anything like that. Of course, if you put a giant piece of DTF across the front of your garment, you may get some funky stretching. But if you have enough gaps in your design, it should stretch really nicely and really blend in with the shirt. It feels super light, almost like a screen printed type of look on the front of the shirt, which I absolutely love. So overall, I really like the feel of DTF transfers after they're pressed. So now that you've seen the whole process, you might be wondering, who are DTF transfers best suited for? I personally think any crafter who's interested is a great candidate to try out DTF, but let me tell you some examples of when DTF could be really useful. DTF is great for small business owners or hobbyist crafters who don't need a ton of the same design. Each time that you design your gang sheet, you can fill it up with all the same design, or you can fill it up with a variety of designs that you want to try. That's up to you. If you're a small business, DTF is also a great way to order single images that can work as samples before a customer places a larger order. DTF is also great for crafters who use the same design from time to time. Say for example, your husband has a landscaping company and he likes to put his logo on a few t-shirts. You could create a gang sheet that has all of his logo for the front and back of his t-shirt. And then each time you need more designs, you could just order another gang sheet. So it's super simple without a ton of cost. If you want to try these trendy transfers in a way that's not going to cost you much upfront, then ordering DTF transfers is definitely for you. Since you need a traditional heat press in order to use DTF transfers, ProWorld has generously offered to give away one of their TransPro 15 by 15 clamshell heat presses so that one lucky crafter can easily get started with DTF. To enter the giveaway, all you need to do is comment on this YouTube video and enter your information in the Rafflecopter link down in the description below. Make sure you enter the giveaway before it ends, and you can head over to ProWorld's website to try out DTF transfers. I have links to both of those down in the description below for you. If you learned something in this video, then don't forget to give it a like, and make sure you subscribe to DIY Alex for more videos a lot like this one. And you might already know I love connecting with you guys on social media. So if we're not already connected, you can head down to the links in the description to find me on your favorite social media platforms. All the hearts.